Hello and welcome to another Tuesday night. We're almost there, almost the end of the season. It's absolutely flown by. I think we've got 5-6 weeks to go. Don't forget that last episode is always a bit of fun, so I can't wait for that one. Look, this is the Tuesday night Parra League's Talking Parra live show. Thanks to our sponsors. First of all, Time for a Chat, ZMS Trophies, Bay Vista, Eurowork, Tate Sports Cards, Non-Stop Landscapes, Wink Media, X-Visory, Spot on Hose and Fittings, Tony Mustafa, JD Buyers Agents, Riverside Brewing Co. and BMA Trucking. I'll bring everyone in it pretty quickly, but like I said, this is the Talking Parra Tuesday night live show. Special guests coming on later. We're going to, first of all, review that loss to the Dirty Fucking Cheats Melbourne. It's always hard losing to Melbourne because I absolutely hate them and I've never forgotten what they've done, that's for sure. But I'll bring everyone in. Welcome, boys. How are we travelling this fine? Who's missing? No one. No one's missing. I've just got to make it a 5 to satisfy myself. Jack, how are you travelling this Tuesday night?
Yeah, mate. Serve my suspension, come back with a new appreciation for everything. So I'm ready to lock in. No more silly stuff. If the boys want to go out after a win, I'll be the first one there and the last one to leave.
Fair. I did forget to say, of course, we are doing a $50 Leagues Club giveaway voucher. I forgot to put that up because I forgot to do that, and it's my one job. But boom, there it is. Thanks, Jez. Love your work. $50 voucher giveaway. Share this, comment, share, and we will draw one again. You do have to be here to claim. We might do something a little bit special later. We might give something else away. We'll just wait and see how we're feeling. We'll see how generous we're feeling. Okay, so Longy, cutest little honey, how you traveling?
Yeah, thanks, cute little honey. Feeling all right. Look, it was a tough loss on the weekend, frustrating game, but I was seeing some positive signs. So, at this point of the season, it's all about avoiding that wooden spoon. And unfortunately for us, the bottom 5 teams have all hit form. Yeah, the Titans beat the Panthers, beat the Warriors. Unfortunately, the refs helped the Panthers over the Titans. But you've got the Rabbitohs getting Latrell Binchel back. They got a bye coming up. Newcastle looking good for Newcastle. And, we're in that race. So let's avoid that wooden spoon.
Mate, South Sydney are fucking not in good form whatsoever. I don't know where you pulled that out.
Trell back, man. They got Trell back. They got a bye.
Yeah,
easy run.
Yeah,
and now 20 players, not 17.
And Newcastle just got the Lord and Saviour Jacob Arthur, grand final hero, in their team. But anyway, we'll talk about the spoon battle later. I think we're out of the spoon battle, actually. I think we're in good enough form. We'll avoid it. Cutest little Troy, how are you going, mate?
Oh, cute little honey going all right, mate. This is, the third time in 5 days that we've seen each other. So people will start talking about us, I think. I don't know. But, look, going all right. Looking forward to Sunday, obviously. But it was a good win by the women on Sunday as well. Very courageous win there. So 1 out of 2 ain't bad for the weekend.
And Hayden without a camera. Look, it's actually fucking good. When you have to look at Hayden, it's fantastic. But we've got to show respect to Hayden. He is saving our asses. He has saved me and Longy big time by just going on a massive run. We'll talk about that later because we know he's gonna want his flowers for sure. But Hayden and Bailey Simonson, how are you traveling?
Yeah, it's been a bit of a busy night. Bailey went to dinner. He texted me to pick him up. So, look, we've got Bailey on the show tonight, as you can see. There is Bailey Simonson. The rumours, we'll find out later. We'll ask him himself. But, yeah, travelling all right. Unfortunate loss to Melbourne. Lucky you didn't get to be in the team to see it, but I was there. And, yeah, well, I can't wait to talk about it.
He looks very happy to be here, actually.
He does. Well, thanks, Bailey. I appreciate the smile.
Anyway, we're not going to go into that one too much, and I'm not even going to bother asking how he is. I'm not going to start. Before you start, just if anyone needs anything, I'm going to duck down to the shop. I'm happy to do deliveries New South Wales wide. So if anyone needs anything, I'll drop it off to you. All right. Let's give him his own screen. Let's all hide in the background. I'm going to remove myself. I'm going to bring him in, and we'll cut him.
Oh my god, I wasn't expecting that. Look, I wanted to start off with, unfortunately, Casey Badger's been dropped. I don't think that's any fault of her own, besides the fact that she missed a blatant head high that should have been a penalty try. And yeah, exactly right. That head high is cleared. We've cleared the play until this stage. What did you clear? You cleared the fact that he got smacked in the head with a swinging arm that made the guy drop down. Like, what are you looking at? I mean, she's a lovely person, but did she forget her glasses?
Please keep it Parramatta.
I keep telling the refs.
Back to Parramatta.
Come on. Telling the refs. Anyway, no. The point that I'm trying to make is that this is the quality of the refs that we're dealing with. Unfortunately, across the board, every game there are shockers, there are howlers. Now, Parramatta versus Melbourne, it's always a difficult one, and I've been told I must prompt with that we dropped the ball and. We didn't make the best of our opportunities. We completed it 70%. But then my response is, well, the refs looked at us too hard. Now, so the refs were looking at us too hard, and they shouldn't have looked at us that hard, right? Harry Grant threw about 5,000 forward passes. I don't know how he gets away with all of them. Some stupid chicken wing decision. I don't know why that came back. And then they were offside absolutely every single play. How can I just don't understand. The game is this is a game of inches, right? If Melbourne are going back 9 meters and we're going back 11 meters, we are going to lose every single time. And the refs do that sort of stuff to us all the time. Now we got a few calls because Melbourne played really bad. They played really, really bad. Melbourne, and yes, we should have capitalized, but it doesn't change the fact that they still get the right rub. They still get the green when they need to. And it's just very frustrating when you see the refs doing certain things and not calling these people out. So Melbourne were doing offside almost every play, like they always do, forward passes from Harry Grant, and doing all the grubby crap that they always do, like Munster, how he holds down and does a little roughing. Now, I might be wrong. Longy's going to tell me, but I'm pretty sure we got annihilated in the ruck. Because we were held down every single time. Now, the seconds might be off just a little bit, but it doesn't really matter because if they get us, what Melbourne were doing was first, second tackle or fourth, fifth tackle holding down. Now, the ref is always too scared to call a 6 again on the fifth tackle, and they were holding down on the fifth tackle every time and getting an advantage. It's an absolute fucking joke. Just fucking get some fucking balls and call a 6 again. Yes, we lost the 6 again. Apparently, we did a lot better in the penalties, but those were legitimate penalties. Melbourne actually were very ill-disciplined. But if you wanted to get the actual count, we should have been 30 penalties, and we got we got 1 6 again or no 6 against the whole game. Again, this is like the Canberra game. Look, they were perfect. They were absolutely perfect. Never a 6 again. Only penalties inside our 40. No penalties outside the 40. It's unfathomable. It's unthinkable. And these refs across the board in every game are horrendous, and they're costing teams games. They need a massive overhaul in the off-season, Let's get some proper training, some proper structure.
That was your
And
cut
fuck the refs. Fuck the refs.
I feel like you've set it up for Longy, so we might as well just go straight to Longy and then talk about the game. Longy, you come up here, and we might as well just go straight into stats with Longy because he referenced you about 6 times. He really wants you to support here, so I hope you're prepared to support him.
Math is a wonderful thing. Math is a really cool thing. So get off your ass, let's do some math. Math, 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 math.
Lads, we're going quick today. But look, just jumping back onto Jason's point there and what wasn't going quick, our play the balls the other day. So statistically, Jason's spot on here. We were 3.62 seconds per play the ball compared to their 3.27. Now, that in spite of the fact that we've got the bigger, better forward pack than the Storm. But look, getting away from the referees and getting into the game itself, we did shoot ourselves in the foot in a lot of ways. And I'll go through a few stats here. Possession, we gave them 54%. Completion rate, we had 68% completions compared to their 84. Missed tackles, we had 40 missed tackles to their 18. And errors, we had 12 to their 5. So to have those stats go against us and to still be within 1 try against the Storm, it's a testament to the defense. Like, the defense was solid. And one thing I'm going to shout out here too, line breaks. We won that 4-1. They weren't able to break us at all, except for that terrible Kamitha try, where we always let in a journeyman prop score a try. Like, we love to do that. Outside of that, they didn't bust the line a single time. So we were cynical in that way. I'm going to shout out a few individual performers as well. Post-contact meters, Zach Lomax, Jack Williams, Junior Paulo, all 60 plus. Zach Lomax, 77 post-contact meters in this game. And if you look at the season, I know people love to put shit on Zach Lomax, but he's second in the competition in post-contact meters per game behind Aden Fanua-Blake. So he's working hard, like he's hustling, he's a dog. And look, I get he's made a few mistakes recently, and I just don't want us to turn on Zach Lomax. I'm going to make this point every single week because the stats back up Zach Lomax. The other thing I want to shout out here is after this game, Addo Carr went to first in the league for total line breaks made this year by 2. So he's now number 1 in the competition in a team coming 15th in line breaks, which is absolutely incredible. Our wingers are killing it, and I'm liking the signs. Like, there's a lot of positive signs, but we just got to hold the ball a bit. Like 68% completions, that's where it fell apart for us.
The frustrating thing is, and it's kind of what we spoke about the other day as well, and we'll go to the score first of all for those that have been living under a rock. It was a 16 points to 10 loss to the Melbourne Storm. So, like I said, what's the score at halftime? We're down 10-6, weren't we? Yeah, they won't take that conversion, so 10-4, whatever it was. But look, the frustrating thing for me is we're not capitalising on a chance. As I said, we're leading, Addo Carr's leading the line breaks. We led the line breaks 4-1. Same thing, the support play just isn't there. Like, when we're creating those opportunities, we don't seem to be capitalising on them. But the frustrating thing for me is I thought the refereeing in the first half, I'll agree with both of you. The refereeing in the first half I thought was disgraceful. Melbourne got away with fucking murder, as Melbourne always do. We're used to that. We had plenty of chances to win that game in that last 20 minutes, and we played like fucking shit. Our big players didn't stand up. Our captain, our 1.2 or 1, whatever he is, halfback, our leader of the club, our Australian representative, New South Wales player, whatever you want to call him, he wasn't there for the big plays. Like, why the fuck are we giving the ball to Dylan Walker to go to a crash play for Junior Paulo over our last chance of the game? Why is our halfback not there leading that, trying to come up with something? Like a simple little thing. Yeah, we bombed across field to Zach Lomax, 7 times against Xavier Coates or whatever. It didn't work, went to the middle field. Switch Zach to the left-hand side and try it. Come up with a special play. Like, I don't know if it's not part of Riles' coaching. I don't know if Mitch isn't game fit yet, but there's been several opportunities where we've been, had chances to win games with 15, 20 minutes to go, and we've looked fucking boring in attack. Look, we had a chance. Like, Joe Ash probably should have thrown a long pass to Zach unmarked on the wing. That comes from inexperience. I think the one benefit of that loss on the weekend is we're fucked. We're done. We're not playing finals football. Mathematically, we were still a miracle chance if we beat Melbourne. And I know that Mitch believed that when Mitch come back, that we could still play finals football. That's not happening now. The benefit of not happening is there's no pressure on any of these young players, and we have got a lot of young players. So if they throw that pass and, Xavier Coach takes an intercept and goes a length and we lose the game 22-20, so fucking what? It's done. We lost the game. We're looking forward to next year. I think that's one benefit of it. I'll go to your thoughts on the game, Hayden.
Yeah, disappointing loss. I think Jason subbed up the refs pretty well because I thought the refereeing was disgraceful, as you said, Adam, in that first half. I thought there was 10 minutes in the game and Cameron Munster was given 2 warnings by the referee and then proceeded to do things all game and was never sent off. And thought it was ridiculous, that penalty heading into half-time, Ryan Pappenhausen chasing the kick as well. There was some really questionable calls in that first half. I do agree with Adam that we probably let ourselves down in that last 20. It sort of felt like a similar version to that Dolphins game where we lost it by a very close margin, but we had so much opportunities to win it. And it wasn't just refereeing goes against us. We were our own worst enemy, which is really disappointing. But overall, with Melbourne only missing Hughes and putting a pretty strong side on the park, I thought for the most part to keep it that low scoring and 16-10, I think it's a pretty decent result for a team that's pretty low on the ladder.
Yeah, no, fair. Like I said, we're definitely not playing like a team that's coming 15th or whatever we are. Troy?
Yeah, look, it was a disappointing loss as usual, but to the Melbourne Storm 16-10, it was a pretty good effort. I mean, there was one stage there was 28 tackles in a row that we had to defend the line for, and then it was only a kick that they scored, I think it was. So, but a bit disappointing about Xavier Coates' try because that was always going to happen throughout the game at some stage, look, he was always going to score that over the top of Zach, and they didn't. I guess they knew it was coming, but they just didn't action it when it did.
I'll stop you quickly because Melbourne ran that fucking perfectly. Like, we've got to give credit where credit's due there. Everyone's going, yeah, Zach should have jumped early. He should have hit it away, whatever. Melbourne ran it off a block play to Cameron Munster. So Zach was prepared for the kickoff. Wishart, I think it was, at first receiver. As soon as they went out the back to Munster and then Munster quick kicked that, Zach started coming forward, which meant he was out of play. It was, like I just spoke about, it was a set play for Melbourne to win that game that we don't seem to have, and Melbourne had. So they ran it perfectly. Sorry, back to you, Troy.
You're right. Yeah, but it's always going to be hard to defend that sort of thing. But look, it could have been a worse score if it wasn't for that lucky try to Charlie Guyman where he went to throw the ball out and then got it back again and then scored. But look, disappointing to lose, but again, another game under the belt of the young boys and move on to next week.
Yeah. We'll go to the cuter little honey Jack next.
Yeah, look, it's a tough one. I'm seeing both sides. I like the effort. The improvement since we versed them round 1 is second to none. I can't remember the last time we defended 5 sets in a row without cracking. And like the signs are there, they're being put in place. But fuck, I just hate losing so much. Makes it even harder being a Parramatta fan, unfortunately. So like when I see the fact that we have all these chances to ice the game and it's like we just go into our shells when the game's in the line. We do all this expansive play, all these short balls, offloads, and it just goes to nothing. And we shell up and make dumb mistakes. And like that game, we 100% should have won. Didn't help that I watched on a 2-hour delay. So by the time I'd already started watching the game, it was already over. It was just even worse watching us lose at 11 o'clock than 9 o'clock. Yeah, but yeah, it was a tough one. I hate Melbourne with a thriving passion.
Yeah, we all do. Let's go to the player of the match and we'll get some of the other boys' opinions as well. The player of the match we all decided after a hard vote was Josh Adokar. As Longy said earlier, he's been in fucking great form. Like, look, I had question marks over the Josh Adokar signing. I'm not going to lie. Like, I think we've spoken about it early in the season. Culturally, I was, doubtful about it. And given, I guess, the 4 minutes in at the Bulldogs wasn't great, obviously they made him put a lot more size on. Man, he's been a fucking fantastic signing both on and off the field. Like, Troy was at the 10-year members event last night, and mate, the bloke didn't move. He's signing autographs. I gave my young fella a jumper. Like, he doesn't stop. He's a fucking gem on and off the field. So I love having him there. I didn't get to go through his stats, but they were fucking good, weren't they, Jez? His stats were fantastic.
One try. There we go.
12 runs, 142 run meters, 3 tackle breaks, 2 line breaks, and 1 try. And as Longy said, our runs and stats are pretty much down there. So your thoughts on Josh's performance, Longy?
He's unbelievable. And you can feel his presence on the field too. Like we've gone a few years now without having explosive speed on the wings. And I don't know if you think back, guys, do you remember that feeling when we didn't have that speed and you didn't trust your wingers? Like we had Micah Sevo who could finish when he was fit, but he was sort of on and off the field. We just didn't have that finishing ability. And now we got Josh Adokar, and like he was able to truck over for that try in this game, as well as winning with speed. And yeah, he's just so good. Like I'm so happy having Adokar on the team and having good wingers. It's a completely different feeling. As much as we haven't had the wins this year, I'm enjoying Adokar immensely.
Yeah, agree. Jace, you loving him?
Oh yeah. One of the first things I said to him at the first training sessions we went to at the year, I was like, man, I never thought you'd play for Parra. I never thought you'd play for Parra. And he just went, I'm here, bro. I'm ready. You know, like I did that thing, and it's just that's what he is. He loves the club. Like he puts all his effort into the club he's at. He's a talker. We saw straight away his first game of the year. He helped with defense. He's lots of chirp, lots of energy, and yeah, great finisher. Look, he's lost a tiny bit of speed, but very, very, very good player for us and helps our team a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Nailed that. I can't wait to see what he can do this week. It's going to be fantastic. You know, he's going to have a great game. But our defender of the week this week was a bit of an odd one, and I don't really discuss this one with you guys. I kind of just vote it, but based on some other performances, I think Hopgood tacked the tackle count, but I thought it was pretty ordinary in attack. I think the second top tackle count was actually Charlie Geimer, but missed 12 tackles, but 32 tackles in 30 minutes at the start of the game. I was talking to Riley last night, and I said, was the plan for you to always stay off, or were you planning to coming back on? He said the plan was to come back on, but it just didn't happen. So there is a plan around that. I think I'm okay with a 50-30 split as long as they rotate it and see how the game goes. But to have someone that can make 32 tackles in the first 30 minutes against a team like Melbourne at 100% is fucking incredible. Your thoughts on that, Troy?
Yeah, no, look, you know what you're going to get out of Riley, that's for sure. Defense-wise, is there a chance that he's going to run at all from dummy half, or is that not what he's supposed to do? Or I don't know. Or was there an opportunity for him to do that? Because I don't think he took a run during that game. Maybe
Can I
it's not.
chime in on that? 0 meters run for Riley, 28 for Talon De Silva. And they should be totaling 100. If you're going to split the hooking duties, you should be totaling 100 meters between the two of them.
I'm okay with them counteracting each other, like as if if Talon comes out and does 80. I agree Riley isn't a great runner of the ball, and I think it's something that's going to adapt. Like defensively, he's solid kicking and his service is fantastic, but they've got to find a way to split that. I think Talon, when he was on, if he was on to play that attacking role and not the defensive role, when the game was there to be won, Talon's the one that needs to be running the ball more. Or if Riley was to come back on for that last 10, he needs to run the ball more. Your thoughts, Hayden, on that?
I think for me, Talon's passing game was really nice the other night. So when he was playing, I thought he made a big impact. But it surprised me seeing Riley not come back on. I think he's such a big part of this team, big in that spine with Mitch as well. Saw a great win in Brisbane there between that sort of spine. So it's shocked me that he was given those small minutes. Obviously, some good stats there with his tackles. But, yeah, I would have loved to have seen him in that last, even 10 minutes of the game. I felt like we probably could have won it with Riley on the field.
Yeah. I agree. It's a hard one. They've got to work it out. It's going to take time. Like I said, everything's kind of prepping for next year. We'll go through the top performers, and there's no real surprises here as usual. Pretty sure Zach Lomax leads the runs with 21 and 184 meters. Tries, Fox got one, Guyman got one. As I said, Hopgood made 40 tackles, but once again, wasn't good enough in attack in the middle of the field there. Gave him an absolute wrap the week before and come out and ran for about 50 meters. So all we need from a starting front rower. Tackle breaks, Adokar leads that. Adokar, like I said, had an excellent game, but there's not really any surprise there at all. Let's give Hayden his moment because he's the master. I don't know what I did, but I got rid of it, but that needs to go. Hayden, mate, you've done it again. You're 2 from 2. Can you share with us some of your expertise?
I think I thought Eli Katoa over Sean Russell. I think Russell's a decent defender, but when it comes to a high ball, Eli Katoa was always getting over him. Now, what I didn't expect was to actually pick the first 2 try scorers of the match. So if anyone got a Quinella, that's absolutely awesome. And I feel like it was pretty easy in week 1 overall for those Parramatta fans who were taking us at that line, whereas this one was a bit trickier. But, yeah, did it with ease and really hoping to get a trifecta, but much higher odds this week. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I made him go have a bit of balls this week because it's 3 and out anyway. Like you can't go any more than 3. You complete the trifecta and then you're fucking done. So,
did anyone in the comments back it? Did anyone from the podcast message?
Did you back it?
Yes.
Yeah, you wouldn't have had $50 on it though. You should have you should have really backed it. So you would have been fucking laughing.
No, I went about 93, I think.
Yeah.
Hayden, if you get it up this week, I'll get you a 2-litre oak strawberry milk. How's that?
Yes, brother. Appreciate that.
Or if you get it up this week, I'll be surprised. But anyway, let's move on to the nice segue there. Let's move on to the NRLW match in this week. I think being a Sunday afternoon, terrible weather, I think only really me and Troy caught the game. So we're going to go into a different thing here before we do that. I'll bring Troy across here. and then I'll add Troy here. We're going to give everyone a rest. Thanks, Troy. But it was a fantastic game. Obviously, the girls coming away with a 12-10 win up there in Newcastle. I said the last game on 6 game, the weather was fucking shithouse. I was meant to go down to that game, and I couldn't do it. Like with a 4-year-old in the rain, the field was trashed. Showed a lot of fight, the girls, a lot of desperation. They were down 10 points to 2, and they come back to win that game. 3 major injuries: Kennedy Charrington, Casey Tuhuku, and Rory Owen as well, and all out this week. But your thoughts on the game, Troy?
Yeah, well, it's probably the most courageous win that the girls have had in their competition life, I think, in their short history. First time they've beaten the Dragons in the NRLW, but what was it, 10 minutes, Rory Owen goes off, and then another 10 minutes, I think Casey goes off. Mahalia Murphy also went off for a HIA as well. But they showed grit and determination to get that victory. Rachel Pearson had a good game, I thought. Ruben Charrington as well. She's had a great couple of games, but Elsie Albert, she just, again, back-to-back games, massive.
Yeah, you're right. Elsie Albert got our player of the match for this game as well, so I'll bring that up. 13 runs, 110 run meters, 5 tackle breaks, 1 line break, 29 tackles, and 1 try, and that try was beast mode. Once again, and, it was when we needed someone to stand up and make that play, Elsie seemed to find it. I know she had a couple of errors just before that as well, a couple of forced passes that went to ground, and the way she bounced back and scored that try reminded me of Fuifui Moimo's try in the 2009 grand final. I was just like, I don't give a fuck who's standing in front of me. I'm going to push her for this try. So she's absolutely fantastic.
And the chip kick as well that she did during the game too.
The chip and chase, that was also great. There's some good moments in that game. But like I said, the good thing is with some of those young players coming through and how well they're going, the injuries, everyone's going to get that opportunity to step up. And we'll go to the team now as well, because the team is here for this week, and there is some changes for the first time. But Abby Church is at fullback. Sally Fay stays on the wing with Martha Matella. Lindsay Tua is joined in the centres by Fleur Jin. I've got that wrong there. It's not Flyer. It's autocorrect's dummy and absolutely dirty there. Rosie Marie Beckett at 5'8", Rachel Pearson, Elsie Albert, and Bree Eels in the front row. Ruben Charrington I thought was excellent on the weekend. I actually wanted to give her my player of the match, but I got outvoted. Chloe Jackson, Malia Murphy, and Riva Lee Olo. Janika Toadhunter, Paige Travis, Tess McWilliams, and Tyler Amutu as well. So the girls play after first grade there on Sunday, 6:15. So stick around if you are heading to the game. Obviously, being Indigenous around as well, the girls for the first time are wearing Indigenous jerseys. So that's great to see because I know there's a couple of proud Indigenous girls in that team as well. So it's fifth first 6, I believe. I think it's about $1.90 each. So it's pretty close. It's going to be. How do you see it going, Troy?
Yeah, well, obviously, the old cliche, you have to get off to a good start. Back at CommBank Stadium for the first time this year. Couple of proud Indigenous ladies in the team, Tanika Toddhunter and Mahalia Murphy, the captain. So they'll be pumped up for this game. So they'll do it tough without Rory and Cassie, I guess, and Kennedy as well, who's just come back and is out this week. But I guess the others will step it up. And, at fifth first 6, as you mentioned, the Cowboys, I think they've won 3 games as well this season. They've been a little bit up and down, but it's probably a 1-12 game, I think.
Yeah, I think it'll be pretty close as well. It's one of those things, like you said, without Rory there, I felt like we looked a bit lost. We looked very lost in our attack for quite a while there. We didn't quite know where to go to. Then we come up with some big moments. So obviously having the training run there and having a standard 5'8" returning as well there will be huge for the girls. But you're probably right. I think it's going to be a close one, but let's hope they can come away with it and can be a great day for Parramatta there on Sunday. Let's go back to everyone else now because, I've had enough of just looking at your pretty face, Troy. So it gets hard. It gets challenging, to be honest. It's just very challenging, and that's stayed up, but we'll get rid of that. We're going to bring Ethan in as well. I'll go a bit one-on-one with him. We'll bring him in for a welcome as well. He's looking in the background. He looks like he doesn't know how to use technology. I know everyone can't see it, so he's currently laughing, but I'll push that button. I'll bring him in. Ethan, what's going, brother? Are you right?
Yeah, man. I was trying to work out where to sit.
Not everyone can see it, but he's walked around the house about 6 times. His missus was coming and helping him, trying to get him to set it up as well. It was like a proud help your son moment there is what it looks like. Mate, we'll go in deep with you in a bit of the stuff, and we'll do a bit of a preview, obviously, of this week's NRL game as well with the Cowboys being Indigenous round. But, mate, Longy wants to talk to you first of all. So, Longy, mate, can you say it? Because I know we've worked out some stuff off air. Longy, fire away.
Yeah, look, Adam was really struggling with pronunciation. It's Kamilaroi, right? So that's where you're from. I'm actually a Kamilaroi man myself as well. So when he mentioned it, I thought, oh wow, it's a cool coincidence, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Whereabouts are you from up that way?
More Burke sort of way.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Also on your camera angle, man, I just want to say you've got the right angle there. So you've sort of got it looking up at you. That's the power pose. In case you are wearing camera angles. That's how
This
you
is
make
what
yourself
I didn't want it to
more
do. I
asserting.
was trying to set the phone up over here, so I was looking sort of at it.
No, that's right. You're looking down at the camera. That's the power position. If you put it above you, it's more like look at Troy, for example. It's more submissive.
looks like you're taking a sexy photo that way. So let's not do that ever again. And it also shows off whatever you got going on the back of your head there. So, all right, let's. We're going to let Longy go. We're going to let Longy disappear because Longy usually takes off now. So catch you later, Longy. We're going to change screens. We're going to go up here, and I've got to add you, Nathan. So be patient. Be ready for this. Hang on. That's all.
Podcasting at its best.
Oh, we're a fucking professional podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ethan knows all about professional podcasts. So, mate, we'll start with you. We'll have a bit of a conversation, and we'll go through some of the news and preview the game because there's been a shitload of news come in lately. But I think, first of all, probably the biggest thing is people want to know, like, what's doing, how you've been travelling. Obviously, it's been, 6 years since you made your debut now. You know, you're still playing footy. I obviously know you on a personal level, but how you been? How's life?
Yeah, life's good, man. Just working away, playing for the Maitland Pumpkin Pickers. Last couple of years. Supposed to have a catch-up game tomorrow night, which I'm not going to be playing in. Just a bit injured, dealing with a couple of little injuries and that. So, hoping to be back this weekend. But yeah, other than that, everything's been good. Living in Newcastle, so yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that. It happens. At least he's not supporting Newcastle. That's always one positive. We've got one of them in the background hiding in Jez, but I think you actually met Jez before. But look, talking about obviously being Indigenous around this week and stuff, I said you're a proud man. I can't say because I'm terrible with pronunciation of fucking anything. I can say your name, but that's fine. Looking through like junior footy and stuff, like what Indigenous players kind of inspired you growing up?
I'd have to say GI is probably one of the biggest inspirations I had as a Kamilaroi man growing up. The Justin Hodges, he's another one. I didn't like him or English sort of because they were Queenslanders, but other than that, they were my sort of inspiration, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. And obviously, we see with some of the current players, well, like, I know you wouldn't have got to play with them. We wouldn't have played against them being around them, but like Josh Adokar and stuff as well. Currently playing does so much, obviously, for the community and stuff as well. And so lucky to have him at Parramatta. But I guess your take on, some of the modern Indigenous players carving up the game. If you've had a chance to play against them at knockouts, or I know you played in the Nines comp last year and stuff, but your thoughts on that?
Yeah, there's some of the talent coming through is just unbelievable. And some of the Indigenous players coming through, it's the amount of Indigenous players coming through now. Like, even when I was coming through, I think there was only me and Josh Curran at Parra in the juniors coming through that were Indigenous, and like other clubs only had maybe one or two other players. And now there's like, you got 3 or 4 players in most clubs, like in most sides sort of thing. So, I don't know. It's good to see it happen, like the progression of Indigenous players coming through. The players these days that sort of stand out to me, you got to say the Hemmer. Hemmer's just like, yeah, he's just his I don't know, just the way he holds himself. Yeah, I don't know.
That's fair. Let's talk about your career and I guess any future endeavours. Like, people obviously, like I said, it's been 6 years. There's always a lot of stuff floating around what happened. We won't go into the details of that tonight, but you know what the Rumourville's like. I'm sure you fucking heard them all. We got some comments and had a bit of laugh about some of them earlier, but is the fire still there? Is the desire still there? I know you had a bit of time away from footy, like you said. You're back playing for Maitland. People obviously don't know Maitland's. Well, you'd say the Maitland Newcastle comp's probably the third strongest comp in New South Wales, and Maitland will probably match it with a lot of New South Wales Cup teams. But is there any desire to kind of, I guess, get back in there? You're only, 25, 26? 26, aren't you?
Yeah, 26. Yeah, there is. Like, that was the reason I sort of moved to Newcastle last year, was just to sort of progress at something. Just see if there was any sort of doors I could open. Didn't get the back end of the season I wanted. I missed the grand final in first grade and played the Reggie's grand final. But other than that, I've just been busted. I've had a few injuries this season, which has sort of set me back a bit. Did a meniscus at the start of the season before the season started. Had a bit of back problems mid-season now. I'd like to get back to it, but it's such a hard thing to do. Like, especially as a 26-year-old. Yeah, I might have a bit more experience and a bit more maturity now with the game, but the talent coming through, it's really hard to match, especially trying to keep up with the body. Like, I struggle. It takes me a week to get over a game these days. So,
man, I'm fucking 34 and playing C grade, and you sound worse than me. Like, I'm like fucking 15 kilos overweight, trying to play 5'8", defending on the wing. Someone wants to know, Jeremy Campbell, question for Parry, did he win the Reggie's grand final, mate? Talk us through that moment. I know you won the grand final. Do you want to give yourself a fucking pat on the back here or what?
I don't know. I'll take the try assist. We went into overtime, and then my halfback put a kick across. I was playing in the centres, and I've gone for the catch. And it was pretty much in my hands. Went to celebrate early, completely missed the ball, went straight through the basket, and my winger put it down in the corner, and we won on overtime. So it was pretty good. It was a pretty good moment to share with them boys. I've made a pretty good connection with most of the Reggie's boys now. They're some of the toughest players I've ever played with, I believe anyway. But yeah, it was awesome playing in that grand final. I would have loved to have played in the first grade grand final. They won as well, which was good. But yeah, it was a good experience anyway in the Reggie's.
Yeah, both teams are sitting pretty high this year as well. So when you work it out, you can hopefully get yourself back on the field and finish in one of those years. There's a question there from Ahmed Alamidin. Hey, Ethan, who was your favourite teammate when playing with Parramatta?
I had a couple. Dill Bags was probably up there. So he used to pick me up and take me to training sometimes, and that when I used to catch a train from school to Parra and stuff. So we always had a pretty good connection. And then Hazy Dunstar, me and him played schoolboys and stuff together. So it was pretty good. So.
Yeah, two pretty decent blokes. Of course, you'll probably get an opportunity to catch up with Dylan next year, moving up this way. So he might be able to go to his mansion or Merriweather the beach when he buys it. But there's a few more questions for you. So you can ask this question to him, mate. Go on. Fire away.
So this is from the Casual Athlete NRL, a.k.a. Longy. Which current – and he loves this question, by the way. He asks every guest he's one. Which current player would you least like to do a run-it-straight challenge against?
Probably Ola Kawatu, I reckon. I reckon he'd flatten me. He's most of the forwards, I reckon I'd just sort of bump off.
You're the second person to say that.
Yeah, fair answer.
Second person to say that because everyone's seen that video from Fox League where he fucking absolutely leveled Leon and everyone's scared shitless of him. There's another couple of questions there. Someone wants to know if you're playing in my nines team this year and he's signed up. He's going to help me organise this year if we get a nines team going. He played last year, so get yourself injury free, brother, because I'm actually stepping on the field this year. I need you to carry me. But another one here from Scott. Who was your favourite team following? He said you're a great player as well, but who was your favourite team following when you grew up?
Growing up, I went for the Knights. Andrew Johns was actually my favourite player growing up. Probably until I was about 11, I think. And then I sort of I went for GI. Supported him, and I supported the Dragons actually when they won because my nan was a massive Dragon supporter. But then I never really had a team besides, I sort of had a deep spot for the Knights. But then when I moved to Parra, I just sort of always followed all the Parra boys and just was so indulged in footy. I just didn't really support anyone. I was more worried about everyone. So
I just thought you're a good bloke and you fucking come on the podcast and you talk positively about the Knights and Andrew Johns, and all of a sudden it's just like...
He sounds a little bit like Hayden, changing teams all the time.
Jez has muted me. Our producer in the background, Jez, there is a Knights fan. So, you know, I think Hayden's got some questions. And instead of just putting his hand out like a big boy, he's asking in the chat.
Oh no, I've got him in the chat, but I'll chuck him up. So Ethan, who was the hardest player for you to tackle back when you were playing? Who's you sort of they ran at you and you went, oh shit.
Oh god.
I think no one. I think the man's got no fucking fear. He's like, no,
Stumped.
everyone.
He's stumped. There was a couple Warriors boys I remember at that game 24-22 as well.
To be honest, I was about to say there was what's his name? Pompey. In New South Wales Cup, he actually made me a fool, made me look like an idiot. I think it was back in 2019, I think it was. I'm sure it was him. I can't remember exactly. I was thinking about it not too long ago, talking about it with someone, and he was pretty one of the sort of better juniors I thought coming through from Warriors.
Yeah.
They're firing in everywhere. Hayden, you go yours and we'll get some more.
Yeah, the other question, I've got a photo to back this up, but sort of I was there at your debut back there in Manly. So I want to ask you, did you always have that feeling that you were going to score at Brookvale Oval in your debut, and how hungry were you to bag that try? There's a photo of myself and you at your debut.
I've still got that. I think I've still got that photo somewhere. Eh?
Oh, mad.
Oh wow. Fucking Hayden looks like he's about 4, but yeah.
No, I was going through photos the other day, not too long ago, with my missus, and just having a look at old Parra photos and that from when I was juniors and schoolboy photos and stuff like that. That debut, I was sort of in shock leading into it and that. Of course, everyone wants to score a bloody try on their debut. Like, it's sort of a dream as a kid. And I didn't think mine was going to come off the way it did. So, because footy's so structured these days, you don't get that sort of miracle chip and chase or that grubber through where you score off the back of it sort of thing. So when we had that sort of breakdown play and Dill, I sort of looked up and I knew Dill was going to kick it. I just had a feeling. And I just got on his bike and then, I didn't know I was going to get there or not when we were sort of sitting up in the in goal. But I thought Tafua was just going to leave it, so I thought I better give it a go. If I didn't, I was going to cop it. So I tried and played off. I got it, and I remember getting up and Moses ran in and he grabbed me and he's like, "Did you fucking get it?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I think so." And I was like, "Oh no, I better have got that, eh?" So, but no, that was unreal, eh? Like
just for the punters, obviously, you were $3.20 any time, which for a winger is ludicrous. And some of us might have had a little bit of on you that game to score first try and any time. There you go. There's the photo. Look at that.
How'd you get on the screen? Oh, I sent it to the chat.
This is a master. Ethan hasn't aged that much. He's got a shit a haircut now, but Hayden,
I haven't had a haircut in weeks.
Well, Ethan started a little bit of a trend here because after that, I had a bit of confidence to start taking photos with Parra players on their debut. So over the last 6 years, wherever I've been, Melbourne, Brisbane, I've made sure, and there's been a couple that have gone to the sheds and it's pissed me off. And I had to chase you down, Ethan, in that game, but it's been this trend now.
Wow. I don't know. I didn't mean to put that comment up. I've got some more questions for you. Ethan, how does it feel to come from a small country town and get to the big league?
It's unreal. It's to see some of the young boys like Caden Lars, Lars's young fella, debuting. He's from Tamworth and that. So, sort of from there. Seeing him do that, and Logan Spinks coming through Canterbury Cup and that. He's another young fella from Tamworth. Seeing them do it it makes me feel a bit of a accomplishment as well. Like, I've showed that people can do it. Growing up, Matty Parsons from Werris Creek, he was sort of an idol for me, sort of thing. Going for the Knights as a junior, but and I don't know. I always wanted to make it known that anyone can do it. Like, it wasn't just the kids that were sort of privileged in the city that could do it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair shout. Did you feel pressure, like coming from that, obviously smaller town, and everyone knew about it? Like, I did a bit of research today, which is funny because I've spoken to you about stuff, but I did some research, and there's so many fucking articles, like, and even when you come back home, and then, when you look to sign for the Bulldogs, I think it was, there was articles about that, and just like there was a lot of information about you still on the internet. 6 years later, 5 years, I know everything's on the internet lasts forever. That's why Jason over here's got those sexy photos that last forever. But look, did you feel the pressure?
I think the only pressure I had was the pressure I put on myself. Like mum never wanted me to play footy. I don't think too much. Dad was sort of always into me to play footy, but he didn't care if I was useless or if I was sort of good. So it wasn't. I never really felt pressure. I always just played footy for the love of it, and like, the pressure I ever felt was pressure I put on myself, and I don't think I ever felt pressure until I moved to Sydney as a 15-year-old, 16-year-old, and trying to make the Parra squad, the Harold Matt squad. I think that was the first sort of pressure I actually put on myself ever. And but yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. There's a lot of questions. There's a fucking million questions coming. I'm trying to filter through them, and I'm struggling to filter through them. But one question I'll ask, and I'll see if Jason or Jason, you got a question? You're nodding. You look like you got a question. He's ready to go. He's muted.
This is what I asked you when I saw you at the Newey game, because you reckon you had no speed, but I reckon you're probably one of the fastest when you're in the team. Did you ever get to have a race, or did you have a view on who would be the fastest compared to you?
Well, at Parra.
Yeah, because I remember you had some good legs on you, mate, and you were telling me like, oh yeah, I'm not too speedy, but I reckon you're one of the fastest.
Yeah, I don't know. Back when I'm 19, 20, yeah, I had a bit of go about. I mean, my off the mark was a bit quicker than what it is these days. I think Hayes would have probably had me over the first. Hayes and Mitch were probably the two. I think would have had me maybe over 50. But then I think Fergo was probably one of the quicker ones. He lunged out after about 50. So
yeah, fair enough.
Dude, he was all legs, like massive legs.
Yeah.
Some of the news and review. I'll ask you two more questions. Question one: If you had your time again and you got another crack, it's a bit of a hard one. I don't want to throw you under the bus here, but like, what would you change? Like, what would you do?
Right.
Pressure. Like if you had your time again, what would you do differently?
I'd focus on myself and not on trying to make everyone else happy.
Yeah, that's a fair shout. We've got a lot of young kids obviously follow this, a lot of young footballers coming through as well. It's a pretty big shout because, like I said, the pressure can be huge for some. I guess the next question I want to ask you is the boys now. You got much contact with any of the boys besides obviously Dylan, who, you're going to move into his Merriweather mansion next year, but like, who else you talk to?
I might give him a knock on the door and see if I can rent the granny flat out the back or something.
It'll be the size of everyone else's his house, eh?
It won't be a granny flat. It'll be a story.
Yeah. Not many of the Parra boys. I'm still in contact with a few of the younger Parra boys that I played like my SG Ball and Harold Matts with. A few of them are still playing footy around, bumping around and that. But other than that, not many of the boys in Parra these days. Well, there's not many there that were there when I was there anymore. Like, it's changed a fair bit.
Yeah, trust me, we fucking know. It's massively changed, which is interesting enough. Well, so I just say you want to stick around, obviously preview this game with us, but I'll chuck you over here for a second and make myself big because that's what I like to do, make myself huge. But we'll jump into a bit of the news now because everyone wants to talk about this. Obviously, some massive news today coming through that Bailey Simonson is reportedly by NRL 360. I'm not going to say too much about the background stuff, but has asked for a release to leave Parramatta now. Bailey was obviously, yeah, there he is. Apparently, he looks happy enough there. But I guess one of the big things, Troy, is Bailey was our best player last year. Like, he was our best on field. What do you make of this?
Well, it's very interesting, isn't it? I think, look, injuries have cruelled him this season. Obviously, he's only played a couple of games and trying to fight his way back into the first grade squad. But I guess Sean Russell's kept him out of that squad. Sort of come out of nowhere, I think. I'm not too privy to what happens behind the scenes, but yeah, I sort of came out, knew about it when everyone else knew about it, and sort of come out of nowhere. Don't know if there's any other, rugby union competitions lurking or anything like that, because I do believe he might have a bit of a rugby union background, so that could be tempting. But yeah, it's a bit of a shock. I think that news today.
Hayden, is it a dummy? Sorry, not Hayden. Jason, is it a dummy spit? Because I know you're pretty confident this is a bit of an old-fashioned dummy spit.
Look, for me, it's like we saw him through his injuries. We gave him a chance. He was keen to come back. He's been struggling. And then it just seems like it's either he's struggling with his injury or he's not wanting to put in the same effort to get back into first grade. I'm not really sure. It just seems like a bit of a dummy spit for someone like Riles, new coach. I mean, maybe there's a bit of tension. Him to say probably something along the lines of, I'm not happy with defense or I'm not happy with the support play. Great runs, but, off the ball, you've got to be better if you want to be back in first grade. And then instead of saying, yeah, you're right, I've got to go harder, I've got to try, it seems to be like, well, I think I'm a first grader and I don't agree with you. That's sort of from outside looking in. For me, that sounds like a dummy spit. I hope it's not that, but that's what it just seems like. It seems like there's a disagreement on the level of performance. Obviously, Bailey's numbers are good, but off the ball, he needs a lot of work, and maybe that's because of his injury. I don't know, but for me, it would have been a lot better to see someone really strive in New South Wales Cup instead of saying, well, I can go somewhere else.
Yeah, that's fair. Hayden, your thoughts on the situation?
I don't think he's a cup player personally here. I think that Riles just doesn't see him in the future of the team. I think Riles is someone who has made some big decision that has probably upset a lot of fans, but also focusing on the future. And I've loved Bailey and what I've seen from him throughout not only his Parramatta career, but his NRL career. But if this is the decision going forward from the club and Riles, then I kind of respect that decision in relation to changes being made in the future. There's obviously that decision. Obviously, if Sean Russell was fit, Sean Russell, Sam Rani are sort of in that Riles plan of what they want to do in the centres or even winger if there is injury there. I think this is another coaching decision to say, look, there is issues with the game to work on. And I wouldn't call it a dummy spit, but Bailey believes that his best football can be played elsewhere and be back in first grade a lot quicker.
Yeah, we'll chat about this a little bit more. Ethan, I'll go to you. I want to ask you a question as a former player as well. And you probably actually would have come through a similar time as Bailey, but you debuted, you played your 2 games, and you pretty much spent the majority of your in cup. Does it get frustrating when, you feel like you're doing your best, you're playing your best footy, but you can't get that opportunity to play higher? Is it easier just to look elsewhere, or is it easy to try and prove a point?
It's probably easier to look elsewhere, but for people who have a bit of heart, I think you'd want to prove it to yourself that you can do it, and you want to prove it to someone. You want to make a statement to someone. That was one of the main reasons I stayed at Parra too, because like when they signed Fergo, I sort of felt like I'd just been pushed to the curb, sort of thing. After signing Micah and after signing Micah and then signing Fergo, so I was like, what do I do? But I thought I'd stick it out and sort of try to prove a point, which I think I did for myself, making the debut and getting a couple games in. So
yeah, that's it. You had yourself down. I think 2020. One of the other articles I read today, you're one of the hottest young prospects coming through for 2020 season. I'm obviously talking about talent, not looks. I know you backed yourself when you're younger with your looks, but it was definitely talent. Jack, we'll get your thoughts on the situation.
Yeah, well, look, from the outside looking in, he's killed it ever since he came to Parra. I think he's been one of our strongest players. He did his knee against Cronulla last year, come back, injured again, came back straight into first grade, played pretty woefully against Canberra. And then I was kind of expecting him to I think he was probably kind of expecting Russell's out, I'm back in. I think he probably sees himself as a better player than Russell. I would disagree with that. But Russell's put in the effort and playing the game that Riles wants to play, and Riles is rewarding him for that. And Simo isn't a fan of it. I would prefer him to stay, but if he wants to go, we've still got him for a couple of years. If we can get him a swap for someone who fits into our timeline, I'm all for it.
Look, I'll have my quick say, because I've been trying not to say too much, because I'll say now, I think Bailey's one of the best blokes around the club. Like, every time I've had a chance to chat with Bailey, spoke to him on socials quite a bit as well, and he's been great every time I see my young fella. Like, He's not the kind of bloke that talks to you and forgets you. Like, he was talking to me about my footy on the weekend, talking to me about, like, how my body's holding up and stuff like that. He's just played reserve grade where he obviously didn't want to be. But for me, I don't want Bailey to go, but with the emergence of our Russells play this year, Richard Penasini coming through, and some of the young guns we coming out of the SG ball, I feel like his time will be up by the end of his contract anyway. So if there's a chance for him to, I guess, go elsewhere, earn some better money, or go get a starting spot. I know there's rugby 360 rumors getting around. I'm fucking hating this rugby thing. I think it's going to ruin the game if it happens, because Saudi money is unreal. Going to create some opportunities for some young blokes coming through, but we're going to lose some of our top names for sure, because as soon as you start throwing $3-4 million contracts around and $2 million sign-ons, I'd be gone in a heartbeat. And who wouldn't be to play a sport that's significantly easier and significantly softer in rugby union? But it's one of those things, I guess, if you love something, you kind of let it go. So if he makes the decision to go, which I believe it is true, there's nothing confirmed by the club yet. I said it's just on NRL 360, but I believe it is true, and I believe he has asked release. I think the club should respect that, respect who he's been for the player, and respect what we have coming through, and do let him go. Anyway, let's move on to this week's game, because we're going to let Ethan preview, and then we'll let him go before we hold him up too much. But we'll go into the game first of all. This week's game, we've got a couple of injuries before we go on the starting team. Obviously, we mentioned Sean Russell, as we've just spoken about with Bailey. He's out there for, it says 4 to 6 weeks, but it most likely be season with a broken hand. And Sam Tuivasa as well, MCL. Sam can't get much luck, but both these players have had amazing years. Sam, obviously, his debut year, I don't think anyone expected him to play in round one. He did, so he's proved a point there as well, I think, and for awesome seasons next year. But this week's game on Sunday against the Cowboys, we'll run through the starting team first of all. And as I said, it is Indigenous round this week as well. But Josh Papali'i at fullback, Lomax and Addo Carr on the wings, Will Penasini and Jordan Samrani in the centres, Dean Hawkins and Mitchell Moses in the halves, Hopgood and Junior Paulo in the front row, Riley Smith at hooker, Charlie Geimer, Jack Williams, Dylan Walker, Talon Silva, Luca Moretti, Matt Dury, Kelma Talongi, extended bench of Ronald Volkman, Dan Kerr, Hayes Dunster returns into that squad, Tony Matelli and Dylan Brown, interestingly, there at 22, still in the old isolation. It's like he's got COVID. It's like he's in isolation. He's just hanging there. He's close enough, but he can't quite break through it. But I think there'll be some changes to that team. Your thoughts on the team, Hayden?
Yeah, I like the addition of Kelma back into the team. We've been speaking for a few weeks about Kelma sort of being ready, but a few players getting the opportunity starting in Jack Williams and Charlie Geimer. Obviously unchanged in the halves there in Dean Hawkins, but, we've got Dylan Brown on the reserve, so could be a potential of a late inclusion. But, yeah, strong squad to play the Cowboys, and I think Joash was my man of the match last week, so looking forward to seeing more of him at fullback as well.
Yeah, agree. Your thoughts, Jack?
Yeah, it's a good squad. Obviously, a little bit shocked that Simo didn't get picked. A little less shocked now that I've kind of heard everything that's happened. I do think there'll be some changes. I think I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if they give Hopgood a bit of a bench spot, switch Kelma up with the back row, and move Mr. Jack into the front row. Fingers crossed. Bit of wishful thinking here, boys. Dylan Brown's at the centres. Hear me out. I'm flying down to watch the game. I think it'd be a nice touch from Parramatta if they could do that for me, if they're watching. I know you've got some contacts there, Adam, if you want to pull some strings for me.
Adam.
Would be much appreciated. But yeah, good squad. Feeling pretty good. Cowboys are pretty shit. So I think we'll get the win.
Ethan's probably sitting there going, I don't know if I can idea what's happening, but you've probably seen Ethan, but Jack's the one with the Dylan Brown tattoo on his leg. So he's been in mourning for like a year. So he's not doing well. So, and then obviously we kind of got Dylan dropped by putting a lot of articles up saying that Dylan shouldn't be playing because we need to look forward to next year. And Dylan's been dropped since then. So I know he's kind of blaming me a little bit, but
Adam just fucking hates me.
Yeah, it's true. I hate him. Hate him for sure. I'll ask you, Ethan, mate, centres, who would you have in the centres with Russell out? Jordan Samrani, Dylan Brown, or Hayes Dunster?
I'd go Hayes. Trusty faithful. I know he's suffered with a few injuries over the last few years and that, but I grew up playing with him. I know how good of a player he can be. Don't really know much about this Jordan Samrani. Dill's a halfback.
Fucking snoz on him. He's got a snoz on him.
Actually, yeah, I did see that in the preseason game up here. Actually, me and my partner were sitting in front of his family, and I found out the hard way. They were pretty loud. They were pretty loud too. So, but yeah, him and Lomax, I'm sure, get on pretty well then with their big snozzers. So, but Dill's not a centre. Like, you can't even put him out there. Like, it'd be too hard for him to defend. Yeah, sorry, Jack, but yeah. Hayes would be my.
I'm used to it. Don't worry about it.
Hayes would probably be my go-to. Yeah.
It makes sense to me for Hayes as well. If there is a late change, we're assuming it could be Semrani could play, but for me, Hayes is off contract at the end of the year. He's been killing it in the cup. He's, like you say, he's had some injuries back and forward. But if Hayes is given opportunity, you think he's kind of the bloke that's going to take it because he's playing for a contract, you know?
Yeah.
And like, look, we've seen the way Riles has moved on players. You know, Ryan Madison, Cartwright, often go players that weren't in his plan. Now, the fact that Hayes is still there and hasn't been told he's free to go next year means obviously Riles rates him. I know he rated him in the preseason, but he got a couple of injuries. So for me, it makes sense to play Hayes Dunster. Zach Lomax is fucking fatigued on the wing. He's doing way too much work. I know centers defensively is a lot tougher, but the amount of work he's doing on the wing, floating around the field, I'd probably put Zach back in the centers and just chuck Hayes on the wing. That's what I'd be doing. Your thoughts on that, Jason? Chris, sorry, unmutes microphone.
I feel like I'm one of those old guys that doesn't know how to use technology anymore. I'm just pressing buttons. I don't know what's going on. Well, I'll just divert a little bit from the question. Yeah.
Troy's knocking me down.
It's fucking bad when Troy's taking the piss out of you, eh?
Yeah.
Now I forgot what I was going to say. No, look, I was just going to digress for a bit and say that I still think there's going to be a last-minute change to this team. Semrani has had some defensive issues, and he's been really caught out a lot of the time. So I'm not sure what Riles is thinking, what's he want to do there. I like Kelmer on the bench. There is a chance Dylan might go into the centres. I don't know. Maybe Hayes Dunster will be killing it in New South Wales Cup. Absolutely killing it, and as my earplug just falls out of my ear, I think there's a possibility of some sort of more changes there. I'm not sure if Kelmer is also locked in. So we know what Riles likes to do, a bit of this, bit of that, bit of mind games, but it looks like a decent side. But we are versing Cowboys coming off a loss. So really, if we have the same defense and whoever's in that center position, I think we can put that. If we put that same defense against Storm, we can really put on a decent score against the Cowboys, who are massively rocks and diamonds. So if we get them off their game, coming down to our home stadium, Combank Stadium, lots of noise, you never know. So hopefully it all goes well.
Just change your name. I feel like you're waffling. I feel like you are getting old, eh? That was like old man yells at cloud.
Yeah,
like,
just call me not Jason. Not Jason.
Yeah, you're putting us to sleep tonight. But look, let's move on from that. We'll go into a bit more of the game stuff. I just want to give a shout out to the members event last night as well. 10 new members event. It was a great night there. I'm going to bring up a couple of slides. I'll control these, Jez, because I want to go to them in order. But look, we gave a hat. We gave a hat to Joe Ash because Joe Ash has obviously been great with the page, great communication. Absolutely love the bloke. Jason,
that's a great picture.
Jason's crushed him. Yeah, great photography, Troy, except old mate over in the back right that just wanted to be part of it. But we gave Joe Ash a hat, and Joe Ash continued to. This is the story of the hat. Joe Ash continued to take photos of the hat till someone from the club told him to take off the hat. That's obviously, besides Peter's best thoughts, not affiliated with the club at all. Having a good relationship, but not affiliated and not in their back pocket. So he takes the hat off. Now, the funny moment that happens after that is Talon De Silva comes and steals the hat off Joe Ash and then continues to wear it on stage. And you're going to have to look closely. This is Talon De Silva over here wearing the talking Parra hat while being interviewed on stage in front of all the members. Quite a funny moment until the photographer said, Talon, can you please take that off? So Talon took it off. Talon then put it back on and continued to go around and get photos with about 100 people with the hat on. So the hat was fucking fantastic. Great marketing. Cannot complain with that at all. This is Joe Ash getting people photos with the hat as well. He had it on frontwards and he had it on backwards and eventually took it off. So Fucking great marketing. I cannot complain about it at all. Some would say I'm a fucking genius. We've got some dirty looks from some people, but I love it. I love how successful that was. But like I said, we will get to our predictions now. This is obviously the Indigenous round, so Indigenous jersey is available. I'm going to do something. I was going to give away one tonight. I'm going to do something different. So New South Wales Cup's been moved to Kellyville. I'll announce it during the week, but we're going to give away a jersey. We're going to give away a jersey in person on Sunday somewhere. So watch that space and we'll see what we can do. Hayden's loaded up on the charity multi 3 weeks in a row and he's gone big this week. So Joe Ash anytime, Mitchell Moses anytime, Braden Burns. What's Braden Burns?
So Braden
Good.
Burns will be playing on the left wing, and I feel like a left wing against Lomax is due there. But our fullback Joe Ash, I think he's in for a try this week, and Mitchy Moses been not scoring too many lately, but I'm expecting a massive game.
He's only been back for 2 games.
Hayden knows everything personally. I don't know. Anyway, it's a massive multi. I told him to go big or go home, and he's done it. So $50, 21 times 1,050. I think we can't finish at a loss this year. That's how well Hayden's gone the last week. This will be his last chance.
Yeah, Ethan, last week we had Eli Katoa and Josh Adokar, so pretty good picks there.
Talk yourself up a bit more, bro. Look, last week we had this.
Just have another sip of that strawberry milk, mate.
Yeah.
It's done, mate. It's all done. I'm waiting for the 2 later.
Yeah, strawberry milk.
Yeah, I know. It's because we killed him with chili the other week. So we'll get to our predictions, and then we'll draw the winner of that $50 voucher. So from the Leagues Club. So look, I'll go to you, Troy, first. Ethan, you're gonna have to give me a prediction as well because you're here. So it's score, first try scorer, and bowl prediction. So Troy, you go first.
Okay, look, I'm going to go big here, 36-10, Parramatta to win. And I'm going to say, look, being Indigenous round, I'll say Jermaine Hopgood first try scorer. And I will say a bold prediction. Well, maybe that could be the bold prediction, actually. Jermaine Hopgood first try scorer. Bold prediction. Zach Lomax will kick all conversions this week.
What's your score?
36-10.
Yeah, it works. It works for you. It's good. It's good you had some thought. I'm going to go next. I'm sick of people stealing mine all the time. And I've just got a feeling that this is going to be one of those like New South Wales like Toyota Cup scores. So I'm going to go. Hayden's fucking desperately thinking. Sorry, Ethan's desperately thinking what he's going to do. But I'm going to go Parramatta win this game 38-28. Points galore. Defense is clearly going to be the winner. It's good for your multi, Hayden. That's for sure with extra tries. My first try scorer, I'm going to go Adokar, given Indigenous round. He knows he's going to do something special for sure. And my bold prediction, besides the score, is I'm just going to go out of Parramatta's 7. Oh, I'm not going to say that. I'm just going to go our back 3 will combine for 4 of our tries. There you go. Is that doable? Jez, you got that? Yep. Sick. All right, Ethan, you look like you're under pressure, so I'm going to fucking throw you under the bus. What do you got?
No, I took a bit of time and thought into it.
Good.
I'd say I'm going to go 28-24 Paraway. First try scorer Moses. And bold prediction Adokar man of the match.
Okay. They do give a medal, don't they, this week? Do they give a medal for Indigenous round? I don't know. He always gets man of the match for us anyway. He's literally leading our fucking tally so far for the year, but we'll allow it. All right, Jace, what do you got?
All right. I'm going to go back to 2 weeks ago when I thought there was Indigenous round. And I'm going to make the same bold prediction. Again, old man syndrome. I was like, don't know what day it was. Josh Adokar, my bold prediction, Josh Adokar hat trick. I think that's happening.
It's gone reverse.
Indigenous round. Yeah. Yep. First try scorer, Josh Adokar. And Josh Adokar to do everything, basically kick goals. No, I'm just like, and I think we are underestimating how well we played against Melbourne. I think we're going to thrash the Cowboys. I'm going to say 52 points to 10.
Oh, the Cowboys won't be able to win the comp then.
Oh.
All right, fire away, Jackie boy.
I got score 40-16 to Parramatta. I've got Dean Hawkins as my first try scorer. And my bold prediction is our 6 and our 7 will set them up, each other up for a try. So Moses will kick for Hawkins, and Hawkins will get the little grabber through, and Moses is going to jump on it.
Take it. I don't know how Jez is going to write that back, but he's writing it.
I'll send him a simplified version of it.
I love that Parry and Jack there backing Moses. It just means the multi's going to get up. So it's all the breadcrumbs for it. Look, I haven't tipped Parramatta since round 17, so this actually sounds crazy, but I won't be at this game. I'll be in Melbourne, unfortunately. I'm going to go.
Yeah, we forgot about it.
Such a hater.
We actually forgot about how much his bloke fucking hates us. He tipped Melbourne the other day. Anyway, all right. Sorry, you got your multi up. Come back. Sorry.
Guys, I'm tipping Parramatta. Woo-hoo! No, I'm tipping Parramatta to win 28 points to 16. I think the Cowboys' defense hasn't been great, but I think they'll be up for it. Being Indigenous round, they'll be a bit of a different side. First try scorer.
Sorry.
First try scorer is going to be Joash Papali'i, starting the multi off strong. We just got to wait for the Mitchell Moses one. And bold prediction, I'm going to go with Mitchell Moses to score a try, have 2 try assists, and over 110 meters running.
All right. Now, you've shown Ethan your photo that you keep on your wall at night. Can you show him the clown so he understands the Antiques Roadshow music? Where's the clowns? Have a look at this, Ethan. This doesn't
Ethan, this is Nan's house, the easiest place to film for me, unfortunately. I've got Nan's clown collection here. Let's play the Antiques Roadshow. Go on.
You call Bailey a clown, are you? Jeez.
That's a quick game. I heard you actually talk about all the blokes that you get photos with. You call them clowns. You've called Ethan a clown, haven't you?
No, I haven't. What the
no, look at him. He's gone straight into it. It's funny because I tried to get Ethan to play the charity match last year that we played in where I ran over the top of him. Imagine what he would have done to you, Hayden. So we'll see
I
what we can.
I wanted Ethan to play in the charity match this year. I had a feeling he was going to, but
we tried. We tried. He was going to fold you, so it would have been great. So anyway, we'll see what we can tee up next year. And so all right, let's draw the winner of this, and then we'll get the fuck out of here. We'll go to some final questions. So 33 people entered. You do have 30 seconds to claim it. So not 31 seconds. We're not going to get any shit. So $50 Leeds Club voucher. Hang on. Boom. It is number 15. That's smack bang in the fucking middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 12,
1, 2, 5, 7, 5, 6.
Yeah. Don't throw me off. All right. So it's Raylene McIntosh. You got 30 seconds from now. So we can't play the clown music. We've already played it. What else have we got here? We got Thank God. So we can play due to copyright laws. So
yeah.
Oh yeah, we use that.
Troy's doing most old man dance alive.
7 seconds ago.
I was doing the Broncos dance, but we did that
5,
4,
3, 2, 1.
Unfortunately, no chocolates.
We finally got one. So how good's that? So they'll jackpot to $100 next week. If I got a name wrong, I don't care. I make the rules. It was 31 seconds, and we'll go from there. So let's get some final questions. You can ask us some questions. You can ask Ethan some questions. Do whatever you want. We'll do this for about 3 or 4 minutes, and then we'll get the fuck out of here. So, Jez, did you star any questions or any good questions there? There is.
Yeah, Ben's got a good question. How can we get our hands on a talking Parra hat, Adam?
Well, just steal it off Joash Papali'i would be the best option at the moment. It seems a better way to go. He seems to be a pretty cool down to left bloke that lets that happen. But look, if people want to message the page, we might be able to put some more orders in. I'm pretty much out of them now. I've got one for Jez. I've got another one for Joash because Talon stole it. And yeah, we haven't got a lot of options there. But if we get enough orders, I can order another 20 more. So just message the page if you're interested, guys, and we'll go from there. That's it. No one's asking any questions. This is great. There you go. Who was your favorite? What was your favorite game you played for Parra, Ethan? We obviously had the two, but I know he tells the story that he was the first ever person to play on CommBank Stadium. Do you want to tell that story?
Yeah. Bevan carved up that day. I think he scored 3 or 4 tries that day. Man of the match and everything for Cup for Wenny that year. and then Parra played after us because we played the reserve grade game before them. So it was a bit of a stitch up for them. They promoted it as the first game on Combank, but we actually played before them. So it was
Take
good.
that. You'll take that. There's another question here for you. You got any advice for any young fellas coming through the grades?
Just don't get mixed up in the wrong crowds. Growing up as kids, like it's easy to get persuaded and distracted by distractions and shit growing up. So yeah, just keep your head down and just sort of, if you want to play footy, focus on footy. If you're sort of half in, half out, don't waste the time of everyone else, sort of thing. Yeah, like I grew up with people trying to play footy, but also was running around on the streets. So, and half of them are in jail now. So that's just, I don't know. You just got to choose one thing or the other.
Yeah, that's some pretty good advice. And obviously, as distractions come in, with when you get to first grade as well, we've seen that so many times. And I guess social media these days has a massive play in things as well. Like social media can fucking ruin a person's career or make things hard, or look at some of the situations where players have been, I guess, stood down or shit's gone around that's not being true. It can fucking kill a bloke's career. So that comes down to human beings as well. As human beings is being better. There's some pretty shit people around in the world will say that. So I'll answer this question from Ahmed because this bloke deserves a shout out. But questions for Adam. That's me. Which Parramatta player is best social example having a chat photos? Look, I'm not a fanboy. I obviously only talk to players because my young fella is a pain in the ass, and wants to walk up to everyone and talk to them. But Riley Smith deserves a massive shout out here. Like last night, Riley Smith was fucking incredible. He left half an hour after the event finished, and he was amazing. Like I even had an awkward conversation with Riley in the toilet while I was waiting for my young fella to shit. We were sitting there talking for 5 minutes. Because Lucas spent 15 minutes on the shitter. I thought this is fucking. I ended up turning to Riley after about 4 minutes. Said, "Bro, this is fucking weird. Let's talk outside." And then I never got back to him because Lucas can talk while he was on the shitter. So I fucking good a kid. But yeah. There you go. Bevan French first ever try scorer at the new Parramatta Stadium, and Brad Kieran was first ever goal kicker. Ethan played very well that day. There you go. Do you know Brett? Or
who?
Yeah, Brett works at Parramatta.
There you go.
Yeah, it would have been around reserve grade, and
I probably remember the face and that. But yeah, Bevan scored the first ever try. Bevan, that's what I mean. Bevan killed it that day. That whole year, Bevan carved up in reserve grade that year. It was unreal.
Yeah. No.
I got a fun fact about Ethan Parry and Bevan French that you may not know. So, Ethan, your try at Brookvale in your debut was the first Parramatta player.
You mentioned that try or something? You've mentioned it like 3 times.
No. Listen to this. It's a good little stat because obviously it's changed in the modern game. But that try was the first Parramatta player to score on debut since Bevan French, which took 4 or 5 years. But then you look at now, you've got players like Brendan Hands or even Jordan Samrani scoring on the debut. So there was a 4-year gap between Bevan French scoring, you scoring, and now all the young blokes come through. So you broke the duck.
Yeah.
You gonna sleep well knowing that tonight, Ethan?
Yeah.
Thanks, Hayden.
Baby.
Sorry, I'm not longing. That's why I don't do stats with Hayden. It's stats with long.
We should have done. We had Christian Inu on the other day, and we G'd him up and gave Troy all the answers like a super fan. Apparently, we could have given Hayden. Didn't have to give him the answers of your crew, and he would have done it. We'll go to one final question. First of all, your Arnie says hello. She's commented quite a couple of times, so glad she's watching. Where is it? I can't find it. She said, "Who's your favourite Arnie?" Just kidding. She knows it's her. So. Here's one question from my brother, who you've also met. You probably heard him doing some Maitland games as well. So, who was your player? Are you looking to see if that's your Arnie?
Yeah, I was like, what the
Bridget Jones. I think it's probably a fake name. That's a real name?
Does she have a diary?
That's the funniest thing Troy's said since the 90s.
Yeah. All right. Who was a player that you thought would make it but didn't for whatever reason? So, like, someone like Jacob Loco had injuries and all this kind of stuff. Is there someone coming through who thought would make it and should have gone on for more and kind of didn't?
I don't know, actually. Never really thought about him. I was always a massive fan of Jacob Loco, especially going to school out at St. Greg's. I was around that Camden Group 6 area and watching him play for Thelmere and stuff after he left the NRL and that. He was carving up that comp. But yeah, he was an idol sort of thing as well. I thought he was an awesome player when he was first coming through.
I think he might be playing in the Gold Coast Nines next year, I think.
Oh, for that Campbell team?
Yeah.
Surely you're a shot at getting a run in one of those not NPL or whatever Nines Premier League teams. Just hit that Mr. Stoper and see if you can get yourself a run. He's always finds his way into a good team, that bloke. So, look, one final question, and I don't think we really want to answer. We don't have to answer this, but I think Ethan's kind of answered his question. You don't have to answer, but what made you leave Parramatta? Obviously, you don't have to go into the details. There's lots of things floating around, but I think you've kind of summed up, haven't you, in some of your answers to the other questions you've answered tonight?
Yeah, just some off-field stuff. Just got mixed up with some wrong people, and just sort of got led astray. But moved home. It's pretty hard to try and get back to an NRL level when you're playing Group 4 footy back in Tamworth. So, just working in that. Had a few family stuff I had to look after as well when I first moved home, so I took care of all that. But yeah, no, that's really the only reason.
Yeah, and you would say you fell out of love with the game and you had to kind of fall back, and I know it's cliche, but I think
I wouldn't say I fell out of love. I fell out of love after I'd sort of left.
Yeah, when you got back to it, yeah. But I seem to find that spark, like as someone who saw you play last year, seemed to find that spark at the end of last year. I think winning that grand final. And then, going into that Nines comp, you're just like, how fucking, like, I can do this. Like, you seem to back yourself. You've had a couple of injuries, but like I said, it's an interesting journey to get yourself back from obviously playing a third-tier competition back to first grade. But there you go. I hope that answers it, because we have a laugh all the time. When I first spoke to Ethan about everything that happened, some of the fucking rumors floating around, there was car crash, cocaine, it all
police
happened.
Chases.
The police chase was the best one. The police chase. They all kind of tie into each other, but mate, I'm glad we cleared that up so people can stop talking shit, because I just said we need to be better to each other. But definitely wouldn't want to be a player. It's hard enough as a podcaster. All right, that's all we're got time for tonight. So thanks, Ethan, for joining us. Thanks, everyone else. Obviously, a massive game on Sunday.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for having me. Thanks, Adam. Thanks, everyone else on here. And I'm sure I'll catch up with you guys another time.
Yeah, for sure. We'll make it happen. That's for sure. Thanks, everyone, for joining us, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
Go Parra.